Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bustler, and everybody else in between. The Thursday night throwdown has begun, and we've got a ton of action to break down. We've got a ton of games going off the board. We're dropping a puck. We're tipping off. Let's get right after it off the top because Thursday night's a DGen special night, specifically for college basketball bettors that like to bet the late night West Coast action. And there's a lot of it. We got a big-time game tonight with Gonzaga and San Francisco. It's not often that Gonzaga have been in a must-win situation against San Francisco. It's not often that San Francisco are in the same situation that Gonzaga are in. But San Francisco only one game behind Gonzaga in the standings, and Gonzaga is not going to win the conference this year. They need to win games just to get into the NCAA tournament. Now, I think they're going to get in, but with that being stated, it would help them not to lose this game tonight as far as where they're going to end up in this tournament. But we've got time before we get to that game. But like I said, I like a lot of this. This Big West stuff tonight. So let's get started. Let me just pull the trigger here and get locked and loaded. We've just put the plays in. So we're on Cal State Northridge +7. Cal State Northridge +7. Normally, I'm an anteater, and I like this Irvine team. We bet on Irvine a lot. I think Irvine are like the class of the conference. But with that being stated, the Matadors can ball. They're having a good year. They're getting 7 on their home court. I think it's going to be a close basketball game tonight. So give me Cal State Northridge +7. Give me the Toreros, baby. We're all about the underdogs tonight. San Diego taking on Loyola Marymount. Listen, Loyola Marymount and San Diego are pretty much identical basketball teams, and I don't think Loyola Marymount have some sort of distinct home court advantage at all. And in fact, I don't think they do. I know they don't, okay? So it's not like it's one of the hardest places to play in college basketball or anything like that, and it's also not like it's a massive road trip for the Toreros. So I think San Diego and Loyola Marymount tonight is going to be a close one, and we're getting 8.5 points. Numbers a little. I could be wrong, but I think the number is too high in that game. So we've got NBA basketball coming up. Shout out to everybody joining us on Sirius XM channel 159 on the SportsGrid radio and television networks. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. To get you caught up to date, we're in a betting mood tonight. We're pulling the trigger with some college basketball. We posted UC Davis earlier on our Twitter. We've got Gonzaga and San Francisco coming up. We didn't give you the pick for this game. This is a big-time game. This is a cool game. But for games that are tipping off right now, I took Cal State Northridge +7. We're off and running. They're up 3-2 right now. So we're on Cal State Northridge +7, and we're on the Toreros of San Diego. Not San Diego State, but San Diego Toreros. They're getting 8.5 tonight against Loyola Marymount. We pulled the trigger on that. The Los Angeles Kings have lost consecutive games by identical scores, 4-2. Back-to-back. They lost to the Edmonton Oilers. They lost to the Calgary Flames. The Western Conference, Western Canadian swing is not a kind one to very many teams. And, it's something that we should probably isolate a little bit more and focus here. We talk about games a lot, but you need to identify as well teams that, basically are in, difficult road spots, kind of like the Denver-Utah situation in the NBA. But you'll notice the Alberta, you go to Edmonton, you go to Calgary, you go to Winnipeg, and then you go to Vancouver to wrap it up, and normally you're beaten up. Normally by the end of it, you're like, dear God, we just want to get back to the East Coast right now. I remember just even on top of my head, I remember the Carolina Hurricanes were terrorized on the West Coast. The LA Kings live on the West Coast, so they're sort of more used to it. So I didn't really think it would get to them as much, but it is getting to them. Big game for the Los Angeles Kings tonight. And the Canucks haven't been playing great hockey as of late. They're not playing bad hockey, but they're not playing winning hockey. Right, they're 1-4-1 in their last 6 hockey games, and they take too many bad penalties. They've gotten sloppy in their own end at times. They're just, I think they just got a little bit too flashy for their own good. This is going to be a tough game for them tonight. So I don't think this is an easy game for the Vancouver Canucks tonight against the LA Kings. I think they're pretty evenly matched teams. I do think the Canucks are going to have a sense of desperation to them to win this hockey game and to get back on track. I played the Canucks to win the game, but we also played under 6.5. It was minus 135. So we laid the alternate line, minus 35 cents, under 6.5 in the Vancouver Canucks and the Los Angeles Kings. For the record, the Canucks are wearing their badass black jerseys. Kings look sharp in their white jerseys tonight, although I'll maintain this until the day I die. And I'm going to look it up, actually. When did they go to this? When did they go to, when did they switch jerseys in the NHL? Because to me, it's just wrong. It doesn't feel right. To me, the home team should be wearing white in hockey. It's a simple concept. But, the fact of the matter is, in the original 6 days, they didn't. Right? So it is old school. The original 6 days, they used to wear the dark jerseys at home. So, I don't know when they switched back, though. But to this day, and it's probably been about 25, 30 years that they've been doing this, 20 years at least, in which the home team wears the dark jersey. The longer, how long it's been, every time I see it, every time, word of no lie, every hockey game for the last 25, 30 years, every single time, the first time that I see it, the first couple of seconds, I have to readjust. I'm like, oh, yeah, remember, the home team doesn't wear white anymore. The home team doesn't wear white anymore. I don't know. Yeah, we should have a poll about this. I know we'll get into this a little bit later on. You look at football, the home team's supposed to wear their dark jersey. The Dallas Cowboys, why they wear white at home. People wonder, why the Cowboys? Why it's so special? You know what I mean? Why does everyone else? The Dallas Cowboys' original owners thought it would sell the league more if the visiting teams wore darker jerseys because they thought the darker jerseys were cooler and it would market the league and people would want to buy the jerseys. So there's a reason for everything in this world, and usually it's marketing. So, and I said to this day, Dallas Cowboys don't wear blue at home, do they? But I maintain this. If I was commissioner of the National Hockey League, in fact, there's a lot of things you could ask Gary Bettman if, we got a chance to interview him, which I never will. The only time I'm ever going to interview Gary Bettman is if, Bettman is, somehow, if I become a kidnapper and he's, duct taped to a chair, I think then he'll interview. Then I'll get an interview with Gary Bettman. Other than that, I don't think so. Probably not. So we got a full house on the program. We got a ton of best bets. We're ready to rock and roll. We're locked and loaded. It's the Thursday Night Throwdown. This is Sports Rage.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watching the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
This sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. So let's do this thing. It's the Thursday Night Throwdown. So we got a full house on the program tonight. We got a bunch of guests, a lot of football talk this evening. Our boy Brent Beard's going to step up and in from Jacksonville, Florida, a little bit later on. A lot of stuff to break down with Brent, including the updated and new college playoff football format. So, of course, we've been riding with the 4 for the last 10 years. We're moving to 12 next year, but of course we all know that besides the Olympics and a congressman, the most greedy people in the world are people in the college football world. So they're already saying, well, you know what, 12, how about, they're like John Gibbons after a game when he was the manager. Well, my bullpen was taxed, and we did our best tonight. We lost. That's what I saw from the guys tonight.
Pitch, Morency was in the dirt, but hey, what are you going to do when you got to do? You're Vladimir Guerrero, going to swing the bat. Yeah.
But they now they're talking, and it looks like it's going to happen. Actually, we'll get into this with Brent Beard about their new idea. People aren't going to like their new idea, but this is the reality of it, and we warned everybody about. More spots will not mean more spots for everybody. More spots will mean more spots for the Big Ten and the SEC. And the format that they've proposed now is 14 teams, and it would be 3 automatic bids for the SEC, 3 automatic bids for the Big Ten. So they would be promised 6 of the 14 spots automatically. And it could still get at-large spots after that, but they would be guaranteed 6 spots, which it's crazy to think that they would even propose this. Imagine like the NCAA basketball tournament, and there are 68 spots. Imagine if the SEC and the Big Ten went to the NCAA and told them, listen, you need to promise us 12 spots in this tournament. Otherwise, we're not going to be in the tournament. You need to guarantee us. That's not a playoff. Like I said, it's going to be teams going to have less of a chance now. So, and now they're like, no, 14 might not be enough. So we'll go to 16, which will just mean more Big Ten and SEC teams. in the playoffs. But so for people who aren't aware of it, the proposal is 14 teams, and they're dead serious about this, not just the proposal. Like, they're close to making this happen. 14 teams, 3 teams automatically from the Big Ten, the top 3 teams from the Big Ten. 3 seeds go to the SEC. 2 seeds go to the ACC. 2 seeds go to the Big 12. And then everybody else is at large after that. You have to be in the top in the rankings to make it after. So in other words, if you're Pitt, if you're Temple, if you're New Mexico, you never will ever be like in the college football playoffs. They're going to need to create a secondary world like they do with the NIT. Mm-hmm. Like college football, guys, is going to be completely blown up, man. It's 2024 now. By the time we get to 2030, the NCAA will have nothing to do with Michigan and Alabama. Like they're gonna police themselves. They're gonna run themselves. We'll just cut to the chase. The best way of putting it is the big schools are realizing, you know what? Why are we sharing money with Illinois? Why are we splitting money with Northwestern? Why does Northwestern have as much power as we do in some conference in which we're voting when nobody cares about them? Now, it's kind of savage, and you could argue that you're going to cannibalize yourselves by doing this, but it's sort of like the European soccer idea where they were like, you know what? Let's just break away from our league and create a powerful super league and screw everybody else because we're tired of splitting the money with Brighton, right? Mm-hmm. You know, that's sort of the attitude. But so Brent Beard will step up, and then we got Rick Saratella on the Indy Combine, all kinds of crazy NFL talk going on today. And we've got NHL hockey, college basketball. Sean Higgs will step up, and then big head and big card Julio in the house. Yes. Big head, big card, and a big head. Julio Rosario will join us. We'll track the NBA and these games. A lot of college basketball games. We'll get to the Gonzaga and the San Francisco Dons, which is a big game for both teams. This game, Cam, is not actually being played, though, in San Francisco's arena, which is a disadvantage to them, in my opinion.
Agreed.
It's much tougher to play if you go into one of these smaller gyms where there's a home court dynamic to it and everybody's on top of you, and it's like that's what makes college basketball. It's not the size of the arena. It's the actual atmosphere and the insanity, and it's smaller, and it's so loud, and it's crazy. They're playing this game because it's such a big game at the home of the Golden State Warriors in the big-time NBA arena. That'll be advantage Gonzaga. This is a massive game. You put both these teams on a neutral court like this in downtown San Francisco in a game that's critical for both teams. I believe that Gonzaga's talent will prevail, and they're going to beat the San Francisco Dons tonight. I'm sorry to tell you this, Cam, because I know you're taking the San Francisco Dons.
Yeah, you know me. I already bet it. I know I don't like
bookie. I'd make the game 2.5. You'd still take them.
Yeah.
You'd say, why is the line only 2.5?
No,
yeah.
Like what they did
I would
to
set
Vince.
you up. I would set you up. I'd be like, Cam's going to take the Dons here. Just make it 2.5. You'll still do it.
I don't know. 2.5. I'd look for other books, Brent. It's a little bit greedy, like this new college football proposal. But anyway, you're right about that. I would prefer the game being in a smaller gym. That line has gone up. I took Washington State as well in a money line parlay, and I got a bad vibe on Washington tonight. I like UCLA, but that's a story for another day. I did take the San Francisco Dons I got 5 here, like it was 4.5 and got the 5, so that's what I'm taking. I would not be shocked if this game came down to the last possession, but I do agree with what you're saying. I really wish the game was at San Francisco, but I'm taking the Dons, Gabe. They've had a very successful year, and there's a huge game for them too, so I think they show up, and a lot of missed opportunities the last time they played the Zags.
I just don't think they're as good as Gonzaga. Gonzaga are good. Like Gonzaga, once they break through here, they've stumbled a little bit. I'm not going to say their tournament hopes are on the line here tonight, but it's time for Gonzaga to start sort of like stepping up and getting on track as it's tournament time, especially considering they're not going to win their conference this year, right? And this is normally the spot that St. Mary's are in every year, guys. Where St. Mary's will have a good year, but it's not good enough as far as the rankings and this and that. And they lose to Gonzaga. They beat everybody else. They lose to Gonzaga, and we're on the outside looking in. Like I said, Gonzaga aren't quite on the outside looking in, but if they went on a skid, they could potentially not make the NCAA tournament. It's harder to make the tournament nowadays, guys. There's freaking 365 teams, man. There's only 68 spots. They actually should expand the NCAA tournament. We'll get into the other college basketball games. NHL hockey right now, still scoreless, 7 minutes in here with the Kings and the Canucks. I'm on the Vancouver Canucks to win the game, but that's not groundbreaking. It's like finding out Cam took Eric Cole in a golf tournament. And I'm on under 6.5. And it looks like Eric Cole's struggling right now, Cam. Not doing too well this week.
Yeah, it's one guy. All our other guys are doing well. No negatives, Morency. And your bookie, I'd increase your Vancouver Canucks lines every night. I'd get you back with the Canucks. But I like the Canucks tonight as well, and I like the Kraken over the Penguins. I did take a shot with Seattle against Pittsburgh tonight. Both home teams in the NHL.
Yeah, but the Canucks still win all the time for the most part, so I'd still be up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Cole sucked today. He's got a 78. It's a triple bogey and 2 doubles. His worst round of his career, and it happened when we bet him in this tournament. So not a great start, but a lot of other guys lingering.
The Dallas Stars are up on the Winnipeg Jets right now, 3-1 with under 9 minutes remaining in this hockey game. We're just on the under 6.5. The Colorado Avalanche are up 3-0 on the Hawks. We'll get you caught to date on the ice. Sean Higgs is going to step up and in and more. Bring it.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, as I stated off the start of the show, I believe I said that UC Irvine would murder Northridge, no problem. Oh no, that's not what I said. I said that I think that Cal State Northridge can hang around with Irvine. So far, it's like a football score. It's 22-6 for Irvine. I'm on the wrong side. I'm not panicking. I'm just letting people know the score. I'm not going to panic. On the other plus side, we took the San Diego Toreros plus 8.5, and it's 20-20 right now against Loyola Marymount, so that's not bad. We're on the under 6.5 in the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. That game right now is 3-1 with 6 minutes remaining, and we're on UC Davis over Hawaii. They're up a 10 spot right now. We've got Gonzaga coming up against the Dons this evening. We've got NHL hockey, NBA basketball. We got it all, including Sean Higgs in the house. What's going on, Sean, tonight? How you doing?
Nothing. It's been a minute, so happy Valentine's Day. I missed you guys, my two favorite Valentines. So.
Yeah, he is. Your box of chocolates, my flowers were lost, Sean. I'm disappointed. It's all right. I'll make an exception for you.
They were flavored chocolate. I know you like.
Happy Valentine's Day. At this point, you should say Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
St.
Patrick's. Oh, we're closer to St. Patrick's Day now.
We're closer to Valentine's Day. That was the 14th. That's 15 days away. We're 17 days away from St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, you covered by 1.5 days.
That nasty corned beef and cabbage is crap, by the way.
Man,
it's garbage.
February 14th, all that, that sounds like that was so long ago. In my head, it feels like, when you say that's 15 days, we're at that time of the year now. It's the dog days of winter.
Feels like it was like 2 months ago, right?
It's like really nothing moves. It's like, man, it's dark outside. It's like, man, is spring ever going to come? Right?
It just feels like baseball games. There's like baseball games on. You can't believe it's February. It's like crazy.
I made a big mistake, actually. I got to remember this next year. I think next year, guys, I'm going to set up shop. I'm just going to do the show out of Arizona for like a month.
That sounds
Cactus
amazing.
League. Yeah. I'm just going to go to Glendale. I already did it. I did it at MGM anyways. The Dodgers play right in Glendale, Arizona. MGM have a sports book there. Just go do the show there every night. I'll go to Dodger games every day. Spend a month in Arizona.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. Speaking of which, the Dodgers were in action tonight against the much heralded and hyped Cincinnati Reds. Everyone's loving this Reds team to win the division.
Did you know Ohtani was married, Morency, or no? Was that news to you?
Well, it was news to the world today when he let everybody know that he got married. He's unlike Travis Kelce. That shows every part of his life. Ohtani doesn't you don't even know what she looks like.
I love Ohtani's style. A normal Japanese woman, he says. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they said, do you care to tell us who she is? He goes, a normal Japanese woman that I've known for 4 years.
What a line. That's the best. Normal Japanese woman.
He said, not a celebrity. He said, not a celebrity.
I was going to say, is that supposed to be a little dig at Kelce?
Yeah, it's probably probably. That's Ohtani's nightmare, man. Being with Taylor Swift, the guy hates publicity. He was like.
I mean, that's think about not like just NBA ball players, but people just like celebrity dating. It's got to be like they want to be on TV and look at me, I'm on page 6, I'm on Us Weekly, and people. This guy's like, I know, I'm coming out here to play baseball. That's all you know about me.
He lets his actions do the talk. He doesn't need any of that crap.
Seriously.
Speaking of which, it's 5-4 for the Reds right now.
There you go. I'm a firm believer in taking a bunch of dogs in baseball preseason, exhibition, whatever you call spring training.
We discussed this as well, Sean, but That sounded all good till Cam tried it. Game 1, they scored 8 runs in the first inning. He backed up.
Padres are up 8-0, and that experiment was over.
I agree with you, Sean, but the thing is, just for the record, the Dodgers haven't lost a single game yet. They still haven't lost. The Cactus. Maybe tonight. We'll see. They're now 5-4 now.
They're pretty. You know what? I look at this Dodger lineup. I know they're. I don't like the lineup. I get it. You got Ohtani, Betts, Freeman.
Okay, all right. Let's go.
Listen to me. I am not sold on. I don't care.
I don't like the lineup.
You're gonna be laying right off the bat. You only get 1.5 run lines. They'll probably be 2.5.
Yeah. But don't confuse how big of favorites they're going to be with their lineup not being good.
Exactly. I know. I'm just saying for the standpoint of I don't think like Max Muncy, a guy who's like 205.
LA Kings just scored. Son of a.
It's like look at some of the hitters. You got a lot of. I'm okay. We're old school guys. I don't think like a guy who hits 222 with 29 home runs or 34 home runs is a good player. You know what I'm saying? Like the top of the order is stacked. Betts is awesome. Freeman's awesome. Ohtani's excellent. I'm just not sold on it. And even the pitching staff. What's this? I got Kershaw at 40 coming back. Burley's coming back from injury. Ohtani's not pitching. You got an import who hasn't thrown a pitch in this league. You have Glass now who might be healthy, might not. And then you have who? Who do we have here? We got Edward Sheehan when he's not singing.
Here.
This Higgs is bringing bull. Like, what's going on
Grove,
here?
I mean, listen, I like Gonsling. These are all 5-inning guys. They're all 5-inning guys.
Arizona?
I'm not sold on.
Who do you like? Arizona?
No, listen, Dodgers. They need another pitcher.
Just for the record, I hear what you're saying about there's no such thing as perfection in any lineup, but their lineup, and for the record too, Ohtani's batting second in the Dodgers order. That's where he's going to bat. So this is their projected starting lineup on opening day. Mookie Betts bats leadoff, plays second base. All right, Ohtani bats second, DH. Freddie Freeman bats third. Will Smith is like one of the best players in baseball that people don't talk about. This guy's he's a freaking stud, this kid. For the record, like last year, Will Smith, he was a little off with his power. He's got to learn not to swing for the fences all the time. But he does. He's a good hitter.
He's good. I like Will Smith.
Yeah.
I'm not
so honestly, Max Muncy is their biggest weakness.
Keep going. Who else is in this lineup?
Okay, so all right, so Will Smith. Then it's Max Muncy, third base.
Yep.
Right.
Center field, James Outman, second-year player. He was a rookie last year.
We'll see. We'll see how he does.
He's good. Teoscar Hernandez.
That's a good.
Jason Hayward.
Jason Hayward.
Yeah, he needs a bounce back. Teoscar Hernandez hit 28 home runs and 89 RBIs last year.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
I mean, he was good with he was good with Seattle. He's good with Toronto. Okay, I'm not saying this.
Exactly. He's been good. So what do you mean? Where else can he be good?
104 games. I don't know. That's a big ask. I mean, the Rockies.
So you like the under?
I do like the under. I like the under for them.
I'm just floored. I like your hot take.
I do.
All contrary.
The under. 103.5. I mean, nobody's catching them. It'll be I'm not saying I'm not laying 400 for them to win division either. I mean, that's not what I'm saying to do here and take a flyer on somebody else. I'm not going to do that. I just think there's a lot of love on them. Now minus 600 here. Who's got They were 400 earlier. They were 430. Now they're 600. Unbelievable. Did they sign Blake Snell while we were in commercial break?
That's nuts. That's like that. It's a high number. They are going to win a division, but I've got a lower price on them. Listen, I pulled the trigger on the Dodgers. We got the odds boost early, in which I got a nice number on them. What was it, like plus?
I went to Louisiana
for the Dodgers to win the World Series. Plus 550.
I went to Louisiana. I got down last week on some baseball. I got the Tigers over, Royals over, Yankees over, because I thought when the news came out that Snell would take a 1 or 2 year deal, I thought the Yanks would be in it. So 93, I'd say
you don't
over
like
that.
the Dodgers lineup, but you like the Yankees lineup?
No, I don't like the Yankees lineup. I just like if you have
favorite guy.
No. You like Cam's gonna like your Tigers and Royals.
I'm basically the same as Higgs. I just got a red face and he's bald. Like we're reading each other's mail.
I got under St. Louis and over Marlins. But like I like Toronto. Did I grab a Toronto to win? Yeah, I got a Toronto to win here at plus 440 to win the AL East. I grabbed.
It's good odds, I think.
I think they have a great staff.
Agree.
I think their staff is the best in in the American League when you go top to bottom.
I think they're the second best team in the division. I think they're better than the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and we'll find out. Can they knock Baltimore off?
The thing with the Yanks at the 93, initially I'm thinking under because they have no pitching, right? I got Cole, and then I got Rendon, who might come back. Is he going to last? He lost a lot of weight.
Throw him in now. I actually think the Yankees pitching isn't as bad as everyone's making. Kurtz comes on. We got George Kurtz. He acts like they got nothing. Now they did give up a lot of sort of arms to get Soto and stuff. That sort of depth. Yeah, the depth guys that can hurt him.
Yeah,
but I think this, Stroman will be all right. He was not going to be.
He's going to be a 5-inning guy. You got to bridge. You got to get to the pen. I mean, he's a 5-inning guy, right? I mean, what's Rendon going to be? What are you getting out of Cortez?
He can't go.
Guys, the Yankees to me, it's as simple as: can Aaron Judge stay healthy? Will he stay healthy? Can Stanton stay healthy?
No,
that's usually.
I mean, that's
right.
Like LeMahieu. I mean, it's a lineup of a bunch of guys who on the wrong side of 30. I agree. I just figured, you know what? If they're gonna, I wanted the under, but I think they're going to sign.
I like the Blue Jays better, Sean, at over 87.5 than the Yankees total at 93.5. I like that.
I think if the Orioles, they might start a little slow because the one guy, who's the pitcher, just got hurt. Bradish got hurt, I think, or one of them. Yeah. And
No. They won't start slow. I'm glad you brought this up, actually, and this is something
I like. Burnsy.
Hold on, I don't have access to this bet, but there's a book out there. They have a bet, first team to 10 wins, Cam. It's like first to 10 in basketball. It's awesome. That. First team to 10 wins. Take a look at Baltimore and the Baltimore Orioles schedule, guys, during this break right now.
I am. Hold it up.
The Orioles might start the season 12-0.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We're just talking a little Major League Baseball futures. We'll get back to the basketball and the hockey. We were talking about the Blue Jays, and Alek Manoah, of course, was a Cy Young candidate a couple of years ago. Came out of nowhere. Young guy, came out of nowhere, got cocky early, talked a lot of smack to everybody, has been humbled since. There was kind of high hopes, and, all right, can he get back on track this year? Far too early to judge whether he can pull it off yet. But it was disappointing to see that in his spring training debut, not only did he struggle, but he was actually like a danger. He hit 3 batters. And the thing is, he had velocity too. He was top at 95. That was the good news. The bad news is he had no control of where it was going. He got lit up. I think the Blue Jays are going to move on. I don't think they'll bring this into the season and create drama or anything like that. So he's going to have to pitch well in spring training and get on track. Otherwise, I think they're going to trade him, or I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think he might not make the team. I'll put it that way. I think they're already starting to think, he might not make the team. We're going to have to think about this seriously now.
He hit guys his rookie year. He hit a bunch of guys too, because he'd throw inside. He was one of those guys, old school, inside, hit you, who cares? Then last year went totally off the rails. He just had zero control and got shelled left and right. Is he turning into who's the guy in the Cardinals? Who's the quarterback? Steve Ankel? Rick Ankel. Rick Ankel now?
Rick Ankiel was a little different, in which Rick Ankiel was good. And then suddenly, I was thinking the same thing in a similar way, but it's different. If you remember, guys, Rick Ankiel, he was a good pitcher. He couldn't stop throwing it over the catcher's head just suddenly. No, remember Steve Sachs, guys. This is a long time ago. This is the late 70s and the 80s. Yeah, but Steve Sachs is like a Gold Glove second baseman. The guy won World Series, and then one day he just sailed second base. He threw it over the dugout into the stands, and then it happened again. And it's sort of it was it happened again.
Who's that? I can't stop too, right?
I can't stop doing it. Yeah, it's I can't stop, guys. I can't. It's sort of like golf cam. They call it the yips, right? Right around the hole. It's just you're screwed. It got so bad for Rick Ankiel, he had to become an outfielder. They were listen, you're a good athlete, so let's just make you an outfielder.
He hit what, 25 home runs?
Yes. It worked well.
That's crazy.
No, good.
Think about how sick that is, because you see pitchers get up and can't even make contact with a bat. This guy went from being a good pitcher or solid pitcher, was supposed to be a good pitcher, and starts hitting bombs in the outfield.
I maintain that there's a ton of pitchers in Major League Baseball who would be good hitters, but they don't let them do it.
You think? I think that too, because right, growing up, you're playing baseball, you're playing all sports, you're good across the board and everything. They're probably hitting in high school and college anyway, right?
Exactly. Most
Arizona too. Owings, that guy he murdered the ball. Zach Greinke can hit. People don't know Zach Greinke's a wicked batter.
Madison Bumgarner hit 3 home runs in the World Series.
Yes. Let them hit.
He was up there. Poof. He's come on, let's go.
Greinke said he keeps pitching because he wants to hit 100 homers or hit 10 homers or something. He wants to have some record for home runs or something as a pitcher.
Yeah, the thing is, like you said, Sean, most pitchers and stuff in baseball were the best player on their high school team and their college team.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, I pitch, but when I don't pitch, I play left field, right? And I hit. Yeah, I'm a pitcher. And then they get to the bigs, and it's sort of like, listen, dude, you're a pitcher now. You're not. You know what I mean? You're only going to throw. Look, dude, they only let pitchers throw 5 innings now, Sean. Let alone, like, I know, and I'm not the only one, but, like, anyone that knows, like, has been around, I used to, when I was the post-game show host, I used to, like, get to see sort of the private batting practice before they'd open the doors and stuff. And all it is, guys, and it used to anger me, actually, because when pitchers would have to hit, they could never get a bunt down when they needed to. But in batting practice, they would bet like $500 and $1,000 and stuff, like who could hit the farthest home run. And they would all smoke it. They would, every one of them, like boom, 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 like they're crushing the ball, right? And they could all hit. But then they get in the game, I got a bunt. They can't do it and stuff after. Yeah, they can't do it. I don't know about you. I hate the DH, Sean. I wish the pitcher still had to hit in the national.
I'm with you, Gabe. I couldn't believe it. I don't care what anybody says.
It's like a softball game.
It's another skill set. That's what separates the leagues. Like everything that's smart, they just raise for dummies. Not everyone's a dummy. We actually like to watch the pitcher move the batter.
They want it
part
offense.
of the game. Yeah,
I want
more runs.
I want to pivot to the college football playoffs because before I came on, you were talking about the NCAA tournament expanding to more teams. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we don't need more teams. Like now, college football's talking about going to what? Adding 2 or 4 more teams to the thing now with automatic bids. How about if the ACC had 2 automatic bids this year? Is that a joke? Automatic bids for these freaking conferences? So why did it? This is going to be this is the 8th. This is going to be the Big Ten and SEC Invitational. You're going to have 10 teams from those things.
And imagine too, it'll be the same teams every year, Sean.
I've been saying that.
Like, what's going to be different in the Big Ten? Like, it'll be Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State every year in the playoffs.
Yes.
Georgia,
don't forget now
Alabama,
it's Oregon
and
now
LSU.
It's Oregon and Washington. Yes.
Yeah. Well, now they're in they're split up, but it'll be almost like hockey. It'll become flat and boring. It'll be the same matchups all the time.
It's terrible. It's 16. You want to do 6? I can live with 6. 10, 12. No. Now they want 14 or 16. It's over. No conference championship games. There won't be a conference championship game. Why would there be?
A movie. No, it's a joke. Like that. You want like a team from like a real underdog, a nice story, whatever. Good luck. Like that's gone. All blue blood.
Yeah,
all the time. That's life.
Yeah. The thing is though. There are no Cinderellas in football. It's not like basketball.
No, but there shouldn't.
So that's the thing.
Games.
Like they're kind of like the way they look at it. It's like these teams are just wasting our time.
But you don't think 16 teams are wasting your time in a college football playoff?
Yes. I don't need to see Liberty get smoked by 48 against Georgia in some like opening round.
You need 16.
Game.
6. I could live with 6.
It was fine. You know what? It was fine the way it was with 4.
I thought it was.
You have to be the top 4 or you don't make it. This is the modern society, guys. It's not fair. What about us? What do you mean? Who could complain this year besides Florida State? And you got hurt. That's happened. You got hurt. It happened.
Yeah.
And you got murdered. You wouldn't have been as good. Michigan would have killed you, right? Like it wouldn't have worked out for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, There's never been a real controversy besides Florida State this year. You could argue they got screwed, but they also lost everybody, and they didn't do themselves any favors by losing 65-0 or whatever the hell it was to Georgia, right? To Georgia's backups too. They're like, "Whoa, we didn't have everybody." Yeah, Georgia didn't even play anybody. They still smoked you. So
no, I saw that.
I was fine with 4, and I'm a Michigan fan. We've only won once. I'm not even complaining about it. It's like, hey, you want to win? Don't lose during the regular season. And the last thing about it, you've killed the regular season now, guys. Like, think about that, Cam. Think about that, Sean. Now, if you're Michigan or Ohio State, it used to be like I'd be nervous for a month. I'd be like, oh my God, man. We could win every game, but if we lose this game, our whole season's over.
That's the most
and it means so much. Now it's going to be like, who cares if we lose? We're in the playoffs anyways. We're going to finish in first or second place. Who cares?
That's the problem. You nailed it right on the head. That was the difference between college football, any other sport, NFL. You lose, you're done.
It won't matter now.
That's what made it special. You're done. You can't. Oh, sorry, you lost.
You can have
You didn't
Now
show
it'll
up.
be Cam and be like, yeah, we lost you in the playoff in that
I hate
game, but we're
this
going to
crap.
the playoffs, and we'll see you in the
Joke,
playoffs
man.
anyway, so we don't care, you know?
It's going to be, Penn State lost to Ohio State, Michigan. That's only 2 losses. So they got to be in the playoffs because they lost to these 2 playoff teams. Or Oregon,
That's exactly it.
or whatever the case be. Yeah.
They created
Bama,
it for the Penn
Georgia,
States and the Ole
LSU.
Misses of the world. Ole Miss, well, they lose their 10-2 every year. It's like, well, it's not good enough to be in the final. You got to be 11-1.
Listen, hey, Mississippi State's 10-4 this year, but they lost to Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and A&M, and they're all in the playoffs. So you got to put them in here. That strength of schedule. Come on, they don't have the strength. They lost to all the good teams. They're not good, obviously.
Either this, just keep it 4, or just get it over with and just put 64 in and just do a stupid little bracket tournament like they do in basketball. Seriously, start it off. Have Tulane play Liberty and blah, blah, Southern Miss, and like Cam wants, the Cinderellas. Knock yourself out, guys. Play a bunch of games to climb the ladder to get murdered after.
No, but I like the Cinderella story, but I'm also on your side. You have to that's the whole problem with the NHL playoff format. You have to make regular seasons worth something, or it doesn't mean anything. That's the whole point.
They're bastardizing it. And the last thing about this, too, is these new conferences, too, like you said, Shaw, like they're you know why they're doing this, right? You notice they're writing? They're like, well, how about we'll do the guaranteed seeds? Because the Big Ten and the SEC know our conferences are so stacked now. We're not. You just nailed it. No one, dude. Like, okay, Oklahoma, you want to be in the SEC? Hey, you're all happy now. Don't think you're going 11-1 every year anymore now.
Nope.
Like, used to play Kansas and Kansas State. Like, no. Now you're playing Tennessee. Yep. Now you're playing Alabama. Now you're playing Texas A&M. Like, USC Trojans. You think they went 7-5, Cam, in the Pac-12. Now they're going to play in the snow against real teams. You're going to get lit up. And USC fans are going to go, maybe this wasn't such a good idea to break the Pac-12 up. No, it wasn't.
That last year. It's a bad
And imagine if they would have waited, Cam, they would have 2 guaranteed seeds in this new playoff anyways.
Yeah, I tell you. I didn't even know these
great point that you made, Sean, about the ACC getting 2 seats. So it's like, what, we got to get Clemson in even though you guys suck?
Yeah.
So think about that going forward, because they're talking about Florida State and Clemson were going to leave, or North Carolina says if we leave, we got to take NC State with us. So the football says, hey, we generate a lot of cash. We'll guarantee you guys 2 spots. So now North Carolina maybe won't leave, or Clemson, Florida State won't leave, because now they got a shot. They're going to be one of those 2 teams in it. So maybe they won't jump ship to the Big Ten or the SEC.
If you can't finish in the top 2 of the ACC, guys, you don't belong in the damn playoffs. All right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But at least they have the apple in front of them, right? Like, oh, okay.
No, you're right.
We got a guaranteed spot. We're getting $25 million or whatever we get for just showing up at this thing. Each team gets X amount. So now they're guaranteed 2 spots. We'll take it. They're happy with that. Why?
You know
really,
what's
Florida State going to jump? Florida State wants to jump to the SEC now? No, they'd stay there and be like, you know what? At least we got a shot at winning and being a representative from the ACC. I'm not leaving.
It's
in fact,
be
if
like
I'm Oklahoma
now.
and Texas, I'm like, I'm calling the ACC. Like, can I get in your conference? Like, get me out of the SEC.
That's a good
Oklahoma
point.
and Texas just should have stayed in the Big 12.
Exactly.
They were like, they never should have left.
No one talks about this stuff. You guys are going to get murdered with the quality of competition. You're fools to leave. You had it good. That's the whole thing. That's what this stuff doesn't make sense, Gabe. Anybody with half a brain knows it's like you were a perennial power. Now you're an average team because these other teams
but even if
great.
you're Michigan and Ohio State and stuff, it's like, all right, guys, before, let's just be real. We only all played a couple of tough games against each other.
Yes.
Now we got to go to Seattle to play Washington. Now we got to go to LA to play, like the Trojans, and they're not always going to suck.
Good luck
and
on the Oregon back-to-back weeks out in Oregon back-to-back weeks, right? Because they got to schedule those back-to-back. They're not going to you going out September to get in the end of October or something. They'll be
great. That's true, Sean. You can't, with the travel, they have to go on a longer. They have to stay out there. It doesn't make any sense.
You know, like
they will and won't.
UCLA versus
Rutgers.
That'd be great.
Yeah. The kids, they're going to have a great
Oregon's
time.
going to play Rutgers. That's going to be that'd be great. Oregon at Rutgers.
Yeah,
they have no idea what they're in for. Like, what is nasty and rainy and snowy and stuff like that in the Big Ten. How miserable they're going to be. Like, they're going to be like, what did I join? What did I do?
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's do this thing. We're at a 3-minute warning, a level 1 here. We're also on the clock right now, so let's do it. Cam, Gonzaga, San Francisco. It's 4.5 right now, 152.5. What's your play for the Zags and the Dons? Big time matchup tonight.
I took the 5. I got it to 5 with the Dons, and that's what I'm doing in this game. I'll have a sprinkle on the money line, but we're on different sides in this basketball game right now. I think San Francisco shows up, and I think it's going to be a real tight game. I would not be shocked if it came down to the last possession. San Francisco, please.
I like the over 152.5. I do think Gonzaga win the game. Sean, what's your opinion on Gonzaga and San Francisco? Gonzaga beat them by 5 already earlier this year. Exactly 5.
I know. I like San Fran, but then it's not on their usual home court, so that kind of took me off of that because you want your friendly confines. I actually like the under. I'm actually opposite of you on that one. I think it's unfamiliar rims. Give me the under and something 75-70, low scoring.
I brought it up earlier, too, and it's an advantage. I always got a kick out of it, Sean. And, like when you hear people say, oh, St. John's are playing at the Garden, they'll have a home court. It's like, no, they don't. Like, nobody goes. Like, St. John's have a home court when they play, actually, you know what I mean? When they used to play in Queens. Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't. And I said the same thing. Yeah, Lou Carnesecca. You're putting like this game in an NBA floor. It's like advantage Gonzaga. Gonzaga are the ones that are used to playing in big games. They're the ones used to playing in like these big arenas and you know what I mean? They're San Francisco.
You want a home court. You want your fans there. You want your fans
You
all
want
wound
them
up.
close, yelling at the players right in their face. Now you're in an NBA arena all far. And nice soft rims in an NBA arena, too. The ball bounces in nice here.
Love soft rims. Yep.
NBA rims are softer than college. You know, with college, Cam, they don't bend at all. They're like, bang.
Yeah, lot of bang. Yeah.
College is nice and NBA's nice and
you're
soft.
also shooting,
like
bigger backgrounds for the kids to. That's why I like the under.
You are right, Gabe. If the game was in San Francisco and they were getting 5, I'd consider it like a bigger play, because if San Francisco goes on a run and those fans start getting like rabid dogs and start foaming at the mouth, the Gonzaga team, they can even fold like a cheap suit. But not tonight.
Hold on, Sean. We'll get you out in a minute. We'll get to the St. Mary's Pepperdine game. Ride the wave. I like the over.